Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today I am going to be starting the Rogue Scourge event. Let's just get right into it. And what I'm going to do is do my initial run on difficulty 8. I think that is a good place for me to start. All right, and I've already got people asking me about Rogue. We're going to unlock Rogue here. We're going to do a quick run to unlock Rogue. I do think the whole team should be a Raider, and then maybe her as a striker or something like that. So, that's sort of my thought process on her for right now. But we'll get to testing her in a minute. Let's get started on this run. Shouldn't be too hard. On the test server, I did this with Web Warriors and had no problem. I'm going to skip past this. So I figure we'll try using my Web Warriors. And my recollection and what I said on my video, I did have a video guide, which I'm going to link below. My guide really gives all the tips on what I think you should do. I try to answer all the common questions about which characters you should bring or shouldn't bring and strategies and what to build and all that. I put that all in the video below. What I've done here, what I'm doing here is basically just doing a run through. This is an easy one. And what I mentioned in that guide is that the first node, from at least one I did on the test server, is pretty easy for the Web Warriors. And they get bunched up and disrupted and all that, but it doesn't take long for them to kind of get the situation under control. And that's when I was doing it with like 7 yellow, 4 red. And here, of course, it gear tier 15. Of course, I have a full gear tier 16 team here that I got big for the last event. I did, by the way, take off the low-res combat graphics, so you're going to get to see the, let's see, the full graphics arsenal there. Okay, so far so good. As you can see, pretty easy. Okay, and I'm sure you noticed that I had disrupt on the tank, so that meant that we didn't get stuck behind a taunt. Okay, well, we got ability block and Shatterstar, and then we've got stun on long shot, so we'll slow her down. Now, one thing I will say that I'm interested in seeing is how this team can do on Node 2 in the live server. When I was in the test server, this team just did not work at all for Node 2. But the team is obviously much bigger here than it is on the test server. At least my team is. All right, so he's going to blind him. And then I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to get my cooldowns up. I don't know if you could tell, but this was not, I didn't try to go for Magneto there. You may have thought that was like a misplay, but my thought process was I actually needed some time to, like these two enemies are not a threat. And my thought is I might as well get my team at like full cooldowns. As you can see, we're getting fairly healed. All right. All right, not bad. All right. I did see some reports that people actually were able to run Node 1 twice to get extra points. Hopefully that's a short-term bug, because if that advantages certain players, that'll be a problem. I did not get that bug. All right, so there we go. Already just with one. All right, so I'm able to just, looks like I'm only claiming one milestone, which is interesting. I don't know. All right, 121. All right. So far, so good. All right, so now we're gonna go to the second one. Now, when I tried it on the test server, this team totally failed, and I had to use a team that was centered around Cloak and Dagger. So what I'm gonna do now is show you how the Web Warriors do. We're gonna quit out, and I'm gonna just show you why I ended up not using them. Now, one thing I will say is the Web Warriors, all these teams pretty much are useless outside of this node, right? It's like these, any hero city hero characters, useless elsewhere. So yeah, so this was part of the issue with the Web Warriors. They got stuck behind these taunts, and then Gambit ate them alive, was my recollection. Okay, and that retaliate. Okay, so Gambit is definitely an issue here, and then you also have Wong you've got to deal with. But I will say, one thing I will say is, and it's interesting, I'm doing this just to clear the defense up. That did not work. Ooh. Okay, you can see already how bad this is getting. We'll stun Gambit. But one thing you're going to see here is that because my Web Warriors are so huge from the last Scourge, they're kind of just blowing through this. Like, even though this team is a really bad choice for this node, if you've got a big enough team, you can kind of do whatever you want. So I was doing this basically to show you why this team was a failure. They still are kind of a failure, but they're not quite as bad as they appeared in the test server when I was doing a balanced roster. I will say that the value of the balanced roster is you get to see which characters are actually really good versus which ones happen to be good because you have a big roster. All right, so there you go. You can see that the Web Warriors aren't doing as well here. So I'm going to show you the team that I had in my guide, which I've linked below. And the team that I suggested there, the reason I did this is just to show you that what I said to you on the guide was accurate. So we're going to put Dagger, and then Cloak, and then what did I have on the? I put Shang-Chi, and then I did and you can see, by the way, like one thing that I may have made a mistake here if I was taking this run more seriously is I have Miles not at full health, okay? And then on the end, I believe what I did is I did Ghost Rider and Morbius. There we go. Okay, this is the team that I used in the test server. I'm sure there's many different teams that you could use. As I mentioned in the guide, you could use Squirrel Girl and throw her in. You certainly could get away with using one or more of the Web Warriors with Cloak and Dagger. I really feel Cloak and Dagger are the ones that really are the ones who get the job done there. Okay. Okay. Once again, stuck behind the taunt. You can see the taunts being the issue here. All right, I think that'll count as a second buff because it's stubble. Okay. And now we cloak everyone in the debuffs. And that's really what gets the job done here is the debuffs. More than anything. You can see how much damage we're avoiding just by that. All right. All right. Well, now we're stuck behind a taunt, but it's not as big of a deal. Okay. Wow. So we lost Shang-Chi, but I don't really think it matters because this is the last node we'll need him. So if we do complete this node, we're good. And we should complete it easily because we're going to have the dagger ult. Yeah. That's basically the end of that. Okay. Technically, I could use Morbius and villains, so an argument could have been made here that I made a mistake by using Morbius and whatever, but it's just, as a practical matter, it doesn't matter. And as I mentioned on the video, the guide that I put below, link below, symbiotes also work on this node as long as you don't have a lot of scourges. It's just more boring. But I was trying to use teams that more, every player is going to have to some extent. Okay. I won't say every player, but every player who's sort of up on the Doom raids, right? You're going to have your new warriors and so on. Okay, mutant. There's some options here. I really found that with this first node, Axeman did extremely well. That was what my experience was here. Let's see. All right. And I mentioned in my video guide, I thought this was a really easy node. And I just remember that every run, I think I beat this with Axeman the first time through. Now, my Axeman, I think, should be better. So, in terms of characters to target, I mean, Kate Bishop and Hawkeye are not unreasonable ones to go after. You should be able to beat Dagger before she does her ult. Okay. Uh-oh. All right, we already lost. I was about to say Kate Bishop, but that was Kitty Pryde. So let's try this one again. A little easier on the test server there. My Kitty Pryde was gear tier 15. I'm too cheap or chintzy or whatever with my SBCs to blow enough of them to get her to gear tier 15. Let's try again. So it may be a rare instance where my teams are weaker than the test server. Entirely possible. Okay, I like that blind on her. Although I don't know if it matters. All right, so now we're going to do, there we go. Getting him under 50% means I get all my buffs up. No, yeah, the blind doesn't matter. Okay. Having my characters get low but not die is a good situation. It's kind of where you want the Axemen to be. All right, I'm going to do this here. Okay, and this gets slow on the entire team. Now I will stun Dagger. So this way it'll skip her ultimate when that does happen. Okay. Now we're back to getting fully buffed. Now we should kill Kate Bishop and then we're off to the races. Because what's going to happen is the next wave is going to have a Hela and then that's it. There we go. Now, one thing I will say also, I'm already getting reports that some of the Scourges are busted. Gloves Off is one that people are saying is busted. I don't know if that's true or not. You know, we'll wait and see. I'm definitely going to be patient when it comes to the Scourge. You know, last time what happened was basically I did some early runs and then I quickly realized they weren't going to work. And I built up my Web Warriors team and I ended up doing some just awful runs with a jillion Scourges where I got, you know, tips from from friends and alliance, and then alliance mates who were running the same Scourge over and over and over again, many times a day, and I just got their tips and basically spent an entire evening doing that. All right, so here you go. So I figure on day 10, I'll probably end up having my good run. All right, so as you can see, we got a Greg here now, and then that's basically game over. There's no timer here, okay? So technically speaking, what we can do is literally aim for Greg every single time and basically get infinite turn meter. So I was trying to basically just get the buffs off of Ebony Maw. Now we'll stun him. He's just a character that actually can do something here. And then basically, other than this, I'm just going to use my, basics on Greg for a while, because every time I do it, the entire team gets 25% speed bar. So on average, I'm going to get to a point where, as you can see, I'm basically healing up my whole team, charging up my whole team, and whatever. I do like getting blinds out, so that was what happened there. I'm basically here trying to avoid hitting Hela because she's really good. Because her having Greg there is very helpful to me. So the goal here is basically just to keep Greg alive and make sure my cooldowns are up and make sure everyone's at 100% speed bar, because why not? So the other team should basically never take a turn if I'm doing this correctly. And the only time I'm not just targeting Greg is when I'm in a situation where I have an AoE or some other status effect that I really want to get on. I don't even need to bother here. And you can kind of see the gist, right? Like I said, very easy. That first attack was maybe an outlier there. Okay. Yeah, you can see I've got almost all of them are at full turn meter. The exception being Bishop there. Okay. Okay. All right, and now we'll put it on auto basic. I'm glad I've already got some people in my chat telling me, like Dre GP telling me how helpful my Scourge video was. I'm glad it was. I had to stay up late night working on that. I was up past midnight getting that done. So I'm glad that was helpful to people. As you guys can see, I'm basically doing exactly what I told you in the Scourge video, the guide that's linked below. I'm not really, there's no like special sauce here that I like hid from you in the guide. I'm just blowing through it the way I did there. Obviously, if you're trying to be like a top 10 score or something, like if you're trying to get, one of the very top ranks, you're going to have to come up with a more creative strategies and whatever if you want to be one of the top 500 or something. But for all practical purposes, this is going to get you where you need to go in particular if you're a mid-game player. All right. And now with this one, Axeman did not work, and I'm going to run it, not because I think that there's some... You're going to see my Axeman get rolled here. I'm doing it just to show you basically, why I said, because I know for a lot of, mid-game players or newer players, like Axeman may be your only like built-up mutant team. So a lot of folks are, I think, eager to find out, can I just like blow through the mutant with just Axeman? You're going to see it just doesn't work. And like they get rolled pretty easily, like pretty quickly here. So I try to go after Madeline Pryor because you can't do enough against Emma Frost before she just throws slow on your entire team. So you can see though, I mean, it's just, see, you just get rolled. So even with all the buffs, you get too much. Yeah, you see Beast gets ability blocked, and then just everything goes bad, okay? So I'm doing it basically just to show you how it works. So what I suggested in my guide was just use Weapon X, and it works fine. Another alternative is to do it on a lower Scourge that you can blow through, get Rogue unlocked, and then come back with the unlimited X-Men. Another option is to use the X Factor team, which we can try for fun and for lulz or whatever. Of course, Scopely's game crashed because it wouldn't really be a MSF video if there wasn't a game crash. Okay, so we're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to go back. I don't edit this out. Like, you get to see my gaming experience with Scopely, which is just full of crashes. All right, so what we're gonna do, I'll do it the way that I suggested it in my guide, which is just swapping to Weapon X. And the reason I did that in the guide is it's a team everybody has. I mean, I don't say everybody, but many of you have. I obviously cannot make a guide for everyone, but I'm going to show you that it's very possible to get through this node with Weapon X, and then you can still have your Omega Red at 100% health for the villain nodes. I have other people, by the way, telling me their game also froze up. So this may have been some global thing. Maybe they're trying to combat cheaters or fix their bugs. There's always bugs every Scopely release here, let's face it. Oh, wow. Amazing deal. Not. All right, let's go here to the Scourge thing. And let's see. All right. So we're going to do this the second mutant node. And we're going to use the Weapon X team just because I told you could, and I want to prove to you that it works. You can just throw like Emma in there. Somebody said they use Sinister in my chat. Totally fine. Hazar Edwards. So, I think this should work. I mean, it worked very well in the test center. So I don't understand the test server. I don't see why it wouldn't work well here. And this is something that I think most players, are going to be able to do. Okay. Very doable, very attainable team. The key, of course, is always just being able to have, okay, so you're obviously going to put, so I think I did the ability block here on Emma. And then I went right after Madeline Pryor, if I recall correctly. Yep. And then she didn't last very long. And then that's the end of that. And then you already get the next wave to spawn, and you have slow on everybody. And so then you could just use this. It's like chop, chop, chop. Okay. All right, and then we can just do it here. I mean, it doesn't really matter. He just destroys everybody. Okay, good time. So now I think we're already basically in the managing cooldown zone here. Just to be sure. You can hear my dog in the background. He's very angry at Scopely. All right, just in case. All right, so now we'll just... All right. Think she'll die from bleeds. And you can see, basically, we're in pure cooldown management mode. Now, obviously, I know some of you are like, hey, Philosopher, my Weapon X isn't very good. I can't give you a strategy for everything. I'm basically just showing you, many people do have a reasonably sized Weapon X, and for those, let's say you built it up because you got the Legendary, you need it for war or whatever else, and all I'm trying to show you is, Totally a doable thing. I mean, I'm not even really trying here, right? We're just doing like... Just doing the like... whatever, you know? Cooldown management bit. Oh, boy. Wow. Yeah, I think we should be able to just auto basic this. There we go. There we go. You see, my entire team's at full health and full cooldown. So if you needed to use this team in the villain nodes, you're fine. Now, obviously, it's going to depend on your team and your whatever, your difficulty level you're at. But it's really not a big deal. Not a big deal. Okay. All right. Now, this is the hard node. So I will tell you, I've already built up my Young Avengers. So here's my Young Avengers. Let's go to my Young Avengers. And I already went, and when I saw Miss Marvel in the store, I got her to 6 reds already. And so I'm going to take Squirrel Girl up to gear tier 16. And this is going to show you, I really think this is the best investment. And then I actually think I'm going to try her at Skirmisher. Okay. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to bring her up to ISO level. The question is, do I want to bring her up to, do I think she's good enough at Skirmisher, or do I want her at Healer? Because I'm thinking of bringing her up to ISO level 4, but I need to be sure whether I have her a Skirmisher or Healer. She's already at, 861 health. We can look at what I'm going to get here. Yeah, I mean, that's really nice to get that extra health. But I really would then need to make a decision as to whether or not I want her. Actually, oh my God. This was actually a screw up. I meant to have her a striker. Wow. That's really dumb. I just wasted some blue ions. I need to learn to play, Philosopher. Get good. Get good at ISO, Philosopher. Get it together, man. All right. Here. Well, redo. That's actually for the the future world in which she needs focus. Okay. And now we got her as Raider. Okay. This is a magical interlude in this. You're not watching this part of the video. You're laughing at this part of the video. Because this is dumb. Okay. We did it. All right. Now we got a big Scroll Girl. And I guess the question is just, we'll see whether we can get by with her a striker. So the idea here is having her a striker means triple taps with Miss Marvel. And the alternative, of course, is to have her as a healer, as I had before. All right, I think I'm going to bring my Miss Marvel up as well. This is, people say, why do you hoard? And this is why. Because I can just do what I need to do. I think I'll do Kate. These are the 3 that I think really matter on the team. And we'll see if we want to do any more. But I've got an insane amount of teal gear ready to go. All right, now let's see how this does. All right, let's skip the BS here. And then we'll do our Young Avengers. All right, so now Maybe we'll just, I'm sure I got it in my Blitz squads here. Just to make it quick and get my Young Avengers all set up and ready to go. There we go. All right, there they are. 9:15. All right, not bad. Obviously, the team can get bigger over time. Actually, let's see before we give this a try. Let's just see if there's any Red Store promos that we want to use. Answer is no. Okay. Let's get in there. Yeah, so you want to use the full Young Avenger team. Now, I do think a viable option for many of you is to skip America Chavez, who I think is the worst one, and she uses Mystic Gear, and replace her with Miles, who's also a Young Avenger. As you're going to see, even my super thick team is going to get a lot of damage output. I kind of wonder whether actually one thing that's going to hurt me a little bit is by having such a thick team, I'm not going to get anyone under 50%, which gives the speed bar to Squirrel Girl. Okay. Nope, we got the speed bar. Okay. All right. So I do want to get rid of him early. There we go. I actually don't mind slow on Miss Marvel. Like, she's really not... I don't need her taking a lot of turns. I just need her to sit there with taunt and do assists. So that's what I wanted to avoid while we got resist anyways. That's amazing. You want to get rid of him early, because if you don't, he ends up critting, or excuse me, rezzing folks. And I don't know if this is the best kill order, by the way. This is not supposed to be like some sort of optimized strategy or something, please. All right, so if you had a lot of Scourges here, you definitely wouldn't ult, because you don't want to kill Greg. So we'll just kind of do that and show how that would work here. Okay. Okay, so this is actually a really helpful ability because it gives evades. Okay. I usually don't go after Yo-Yo, by the way, because of the dodges of being annoying. You can kind of see why. Okay. See? Actually, it's worthless. And then we actually got... So we probably should want to go there before he ults. That's actually more important. You can see the... Stupid. Going after all these attacks on Greg. Okay. You can see why I said in my guide that Squirrel Girl is the best character, most important character in the entire Scourge. You definitely don't want to do this. You don't want to kill Greg, but also, you actually may be in a situation where, you're getting ability energy activates a whole bunch of Scourges. Okay, we're definitely doing this here. You can see taking it slow is actually like a good strategy here. You can see the idea. Taking it slower than I need to, but just kind of giving you a sense of what I'm doing. I mean, really, the value of taking it slow here is just that, what we really want actually, let's try this one. It'll get a vulnerable on him, and I thought we would get rid of Helen, I was wrong. Okay. Got that buff removal, which is nice. I like getting rid of him. We'll do it this. This should flip the buffs. Okay, you can see. Okay. Yeah, you can see how powerful. Ooh. How powerful the team is. Now, I will tell you, ordinarily, if I was on a regular run, I wouldn't keep this. And the reason why is Kate is too low health. All right, just too low. I also think, by the way, this really is starting to counsel for me in favor of Healer, because Healer does have, every time she takes a turn, it's also going to be throwing out a heal. I think that I just probably need the sustainability here. Okay. So this is one where if I was doing a more serious run, I wouldn't keep it. What I would do is, I do think now I'm going to put her back at Healer for purposes of the Scourge. Probably bring her to ISO 4. And then I think, like I said, in a normal run, I would want to have the entire team perfect, but that's not an issue here. Okay, we're just, this is just a quick run to get some, get what we need to get out of it. Okay, and this is difficulty 8. All right. Villain. So, as I mentioned before, you can run a team. What I did is I think I ran this team on the test server and had like no problems. And I think this is the sort of team that many of you are going to be able to build. This is sort of what I talk about in the guide below. This team will roll through the nodes. I did switch on another run to like a Weapon X team, and that did fine as well. Dormammu even makes it easier. Okay. So I think I'm going to leave Dormammu out and just use this team just to show you. Because a lot of people, I mean, if I had to say what the number one question I got was okay, do I need Dormammu? Like how necessary is Dormammu? And the answer is he's just not necessary. Now, obviously, if you're trying to get like, actually, you know what people are saying, does the placement matter? The answer is yes. So let me, this is me just clicking stuff to get through a video. But yes, we want to have Agatha next to Morgan Le Fay. And since we're not in arena, since we're not in arena, it's actually a good point. If you're using Agatha, in arena it's 2. So I just actually want her always next to Agatha only, because we're not in arena. Yeah. All right, so let's get back to this is the team. But what we'll do here is we'll put Doom in the center and Morgan next to her. There we go. Okay. All right. Like I said, I'm choosing this team basically because I think everyone can make it. Obviously, Dormammu's better, and obviously I have Dormammu, but that's not the question. So I think I'll do this here. Yeah, you can see that Morgan Le Fay really makes a huge, is usually helpful here. Yeah. And I probably could have just saved this. It's just like whatever. So now I'm basically gonna, do some basics just to sort of spirit cooldowns. All right. Now you just go hard after Icarus. Okay. As you could see, I think we can just save this. I mean, I don't really need it. Okay, and then we'll do this here, and then we just got one character. The point of this is just to show you this is not that hard. Now, this is difficulty 8, and obviously I will eventually be either using a ton of Scourges or going to difficulty 9, but it's just to show you without Dormammu, it's not like this is unachievable. They really made it to me. I really believe that what they were trying to accomplish here is just make it so that their intended teams of Young Avengers and A-Force and whatever were the gate. Now, I don't think they did a very good job of making A-Force mandatory, which is great for players. But, it makes it closer to just, you can get pretty far here just by having a massive Young Avenger team. Okay, villain. We can use the same team. And you can see my ISO here. People are asking my ISO is, I have ISO level 4 skirmisher on Morgan Le Fay. So, as folks are asking me on Discord, you have to just go, if you want to unlock Rogue and that's really your focus, you just need to worry about the milestones. You can actually just look up yourself. You don't really need anything fancy from me. So you can see having the ultimate ready was really nice here. And then, and generally what you can, you don't need me to tell you that this is just like a joke. Now, obviously, if you have a lot of Scourges, it's very different. Okay, the purpose here is just purely to run it through. But this is not a... Okay, we're going to do that there. Okay, the goal here is just purely to... We want to get Phoenix down before she cleanses, and there we go. Okay, I'm slightly angry. Got to get magic now as well. All right, so far so good. And we can stun Dark Phoenix. Now, I will say this didn't... Doom died here. It doesn't really matter. Okay, I will say that I probably played this too cautiously. But I think it's apparent to you, or it should be apparent to you, that, I'm not exactly going hard at this. And this is just my first try. And I'm not using Dormammu. And we're fine. Okay. I'm literally just using like basics a lot and that sort of thing, Just showing you basically how easy it is to control the situation here. You know, so even if I had a bunch of Scourges, I'd be able to get through. This is difficulty 8. No Scourges. Purely to unlock Rogue, so we can have fun with her, the character, a little bit and try her out. We can even try her in War if you want. All right, Cosmic Mystic. So now, because we've only got 3 nodes left, okay, I guess what I'm going to do, I'll do the first node without Dormammu just to show you, and then we'll throw in Dormammu in the second node just for the lulz of it, okay? Just, you know, for the lulz. All right, I mean, the 2 characters that really make all the difference here, Icarus and Cersei, and they just kind of carry you. You could throw in Loki. I even use Mighty Thor for fun on the test server. I'm trying to think of who else that, you know, you may want to use here. Obviously, Heartless and Adam Warlock are options. I use Deathpool if I recall correctly. Dormammu is really good. We can throw Heartless back in here. Adam Warlock is good. You know, whatever. It really doesn't matter. All right. Okay. But you can kind of see, you know, difficulty last time was not this much of a cakewalk. All right, so we'll do this even, you know, if I had had Loki, that might have changed things slightly. Because we would have probably just blown through the whole thing. But even without Loki, it just doesn't matter, guys. So let's do that. Actually, I think on the test server, I put the ability block somewhere more centrally located so I could spread it more. I mean, whatever. We're already almost done with this node. As you can tell, this is not exactly a super like optimized strategy here. I'm literally just pressing buttons. And we're already, in my mind, well, I wouldn't say we're in cooldown management mode, but we're pretty close. There we go. We can just, I think we can just auto basic here. Now, if I was doing a run like where I was trying to get the max score, I might like try to make sure the death pool was like higher health. I mean, it's fine. Yeah, she'll end up at good health anyway. And you can see we should have the ult ready. And the more Scarlet Spider dodges, the better. We actually like that because it allows us to recharge our cooldowns. It's very easy. I mean, I hope what you're seeing here is the guide that I put out, the video guide, is very close to what I told you, or what you're seeing here in front of you. In other words, what I'm showing you here is basically what you saw. Now, obviously, if you want to be at the top of the leaderboard, it's going to be more difficult, but I'm trying to create a guide for thousands of players, and only a few of them are going to be at the top of the leaderboard. Okay. So let's take out Heartless and throw in Dormammu, and we're just doing it for the lulz. He obviously cannot participate in the last node, so it's irrelevant there. All right. Yeah, he definitely makes it a lot easier, and you'll see. Now all my characters get revived. I mean, not that it matters that much anyway. So you see, one thing I mentioned in my video is you use these troopers as a way of getting 2 like double shots off of your Icarus ult. So really what we want to do is keep the troopers alive. So instead of using the special here, I'm just going to use the basic. And because I really want the troopers to die, to the next area. Okay, so... All right, we'll keep... Is there anyone else, anyone that I want to... Yeah, I think we're gonna... If I do that, I can keep at least the shield trooper alive. Okay. Oh. I think we're going to be fine killing the shield trooper because oh, wow. Okay. I can already tell this is a crash. Gotta love it. Well done, Scopely. It's a fantastic product you have here. Oh, man. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Marvel Crash Force indeed. Unbelievable. Yeah, this is why they're increasing the prices of the offers. Because it actually pays for the crashes. Wow. It's crazy, right? This is what all the money for the offers. This is why Gambit was so expensive. Remember when they tried to charge us like $100 to unlock Gambit or whatever? Whatever it was. Yeah, there you go. There's where your money went. Bug testing. Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the things you can count on with Scopely is that there was always going to be bugs. We're already hearing about bug scourges or whatever. All right, let's go in here and do this last node. As you can tell, wasn't very tough. We'll get to node 10 in a minute. I do hope that this, by the way, though, has been a good companion guide for the analysis guide that I put out. Because I think it does match up with what I told you. But yeah, I mean, some of you are mentioning, Jay is mentioning like, oh, can you imagine if you had ran the node 100 times for perfect RNG and then it crashed? And I've been there. That actually happened to me during the last Scourge. And I was like, why am I doing this? Honestly, I was so fed up. I decided at a certain point, I'm like, I'm just going for top 500 instead of 50. I ended up, I think, barely in top 50. I just didn't even care because I just was so absolutely frustrated with that system. It was all just like running the same nodes over and over with Web Warriors to get like 100 dodges in a row. And then if for some reason you had some bad luck, right? I think we can actually just do this time. One thing I learned is trying to keep the troopers alive. Last time I don't think was worth the bother. Because you could see we basically had no problem just decimating this team through sheer force. Okay. I don't want Nick Fury to spread his buffs, so we'll stun him and steal his buffs. I don't know. There we go. Now he'll use his ultimate. And like I said, I mean, if you aren't going to be able to defeat them like this, you just leave some summons. So here's Kingpin. As I mentioned in a video, Kingpin also has summons. And so you can basically do the same thing with Kingpin. My advice is, just you end up using Icarus and Circe, and you'll end up having a good time. I don't think you're going to need to worry yourself too much about this, as you can probably tell. But I do remember, I think, ending this node at least once with the Kingpin summons. Leaving those summons up and then just double tapping with the ultimate for sheer fun. Okay. You can see how it really having the Dormammu adds some wiggle room here. Now, and of course, this is the last node that we can use Icarus, Circe, or Dormammu, so it's just like whatever. Okay. You can see just the sheer power of Silver Surfer. That's a gear tier 15, not 16, and he does not have like ISO 4 or anything like that. He's just, gear tier 15, ISO 3, and you can see he's still really powerful. I'm just using basics from Dormammu. I guess since this is actually the last node, I guess we could just use the super attack ultimate. Okay. All right. Killmonger's making me angry. Okay. I mean, this is just like a joke, right? I think you can see that not super hard. It's definitely way easier than last time. I mean, I'm basically just managing cooldowns the whole way with difficulty 8. All right, so this, to me, matches up with the guide that I showed you. It's very straightforward. Obviously, like I said, if you're pushing the top of the leaderboards, you're gonna need to do more. All right, for this one, what I did, and you can, and I'm not gonna to spoil the cinematics for you. You can watch them 100 times yourself. But you'll see Young Avengers really do well in this node as well. This node is more of a grind, sustain fest, whatever you want to call it. As I said to you before, I would never usually have ended the node like this. I would have wanted the team to be full up. And thank you, by the way, for everyone in the chat who's watching this, like Player One and DM and many others. But, you can see here, he at least gives you a sense of things. So Icarus is really the one you got to worry about here. One nice thing about it is by getting everyone a low health, he gives me a chance to heal up. And he, of course, is our number one target here. We're just going to beat him down. And there's really nothing here that we need to be concerned about killing. This is not that situation where we've got Greg and we have to be all squeamish about it. So as you can see, even though my Young Avengers were not at full health, they're actually in great shape right now. And that's just purely because this team in the last node is, like I said, more of a sustainability team. It's not like a high damage team. And so accordingly, you really have time to kind of get your team going. And really with the Young Avengers, once they get going, they're quite good. Okay. Yeah, I don't like Mighty Thor. I think she's a problem. But as I explained in the guide that I posted yesterday, which I've linked in the description below, You probably want to kill Valkyrie first because Valkyrie, who, by the way, looks like a very cool looking character. Valkyrie, can do all this amazing stuff. You have a hero as Guardian dies. There we go. So Icarus is gone. Valkyrie's next. I might as well do this. Doesn't matter. Okay, we're all in on Valkyrie now. Like I said, this is just difficulty 8, so whatever. And, some people are noting, hey, just difficulty 8, OMG. Well, it's what I mean is for the level of characters that I have, okay? In other words, I am under, in this, my number one takeaway in my video guide was that it's a lot easier this time. And what I'm saying basically to everybody is you can see here, I'm at difficulty 8, which is, you can tell it's not where I'm going to end up because I'm not trying very hard, and this is my first run through. I'm just pressing buttons, and I'm getting through this just fine, right? So that tells you, ooh. There we go. We got her down. We'll get Miss Marvel down next. Okay. And then probably take him down. You can see. Whew. Wow. So my Squirrel Girl died. But I'm probably going to one-shot it anyway. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I don't know how much it really matters. Okay. This is the last node, and it's the last 2 characters, so you can just blow all your cooldowns. Doesn't really matter. Okay. And I actually think we could just auto this one, most likely. It just doesn't even matter. So let's do that. Now we did it. Okay. So we got through difficulty 8 on the first try and just blew through it. Obviously, I had played this on the test server. So all I'm doing here, this was not meant to be some sort of brag fest or something, okay, or flex. It's not. This score is going to end up not being very good. I'm going to have to run this many times. But what I'm trying to show you is the stuff that I mentioned in that guide where I just summarized it in a PowerPoint. I did that to be concise, quick, to the point, blunt for you. It actually works, okay? And it will get you through this. If you're not trying to get a 7-star rogue or the highest score on the leaderboard and you really just want to unlock the character, okay. You should be able to unlock the character pretty handily, using these milestones and getting through it. And you should be able to get, I think, a reasonable size of a rogue using roughly those teams, all of which I feel like were all characters that, if you didn't build already, were characters that, are reasonable ones for you to build. Okay. All right. So there you go. All right, guys. If you like this video, smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel. If you have comments, questions, cheers, jeers, happy, sad, angry, mad, put it below or go to my Discord. That's linked below. You can also go to my Twitch stream. That is linked below too.